me check. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the LinkedIn Live. No names now, no anything. I hope you can hear me, because otherwise I will need to check it out myself. Because I had a problem with a microphone, but now I'm using the one in the headphones. That's how it goes when you do things just out of inspiration, right? Okay, I'm here, you are here. Perfect. So today we have a topic which is very interesting, and we're going to talk about LinkedIn. We're going to talk about LinkedIn, and I'm going to try to answer every question you might have. But also, I will try to answer your questions. Right? I already gathered a lot of questions from you. That many that I even created a presentation. So we're going to go through 60 pages presentation, talk about all these things that are going on LinkedIn. And I'm telling you again, it's a lot. It's a shift that will benefit those who are building long term, that will benefit those who are not trying to hack the algorithm. And it's always interesting to talk about the algorithm. Always interesting. I don't know, like so. Feel free to drop in the chat where you watching from, what do you do, and if you have questions, feel free to drop them in a chat. I will answer all the questions at the end if I see the chance while I'm presenting all the answers to the questions that I already got. I will try to implement them inside my talk, but I won't finish this until I answer all of your questions. So go ahead, feel free to answer, to ask. There are no bad questions, and there are only great answers today. Let me tell you that. So why am I the one talking about it when we have so many people who are doing the algorithm research, who are, have much more followers than me and whatever? Well, it's happening because of the thing that I'm testing much more than anybody else. I was testing with more content. I was testing with different types of content. I was doing a lot of stuff, and that's how me and my colleague Dejan Pataki wrote a book about LinkedIn. We wrote a book in Serbian. We still need to translate it into English to actually find the time to do that, but it's coming soon. So hopefully you can hear me, and I didn't just speak in a void. So just waiting for a confirmation. Can we get a confirmation? I will just do this. Let me just do this just so I can see that I can hear myself. Yes, I can hear myself. Perfect. Okay. So let's go. I will drop in a presentation here. Just so you can see all this stuff that I want to share with you, and then I'm gonna answer all the questions that you have. I hope that works for you, right? Right. Hopefully, Peter has a question, so I can see that you can actually hear me, which is great. Okay, so 360 Brew LinkedIn algorithm update. Is it algorithm? Is it an update? Whatever it is, 360 Brew is actually a hell of a. It's actually a hell of a name, right? Don't you think? It's I'm involved into the home brewers here in Novi Sad, and it seems like LinkedIn is just growing, brewing a beer, right? But they are not. So anyway, great name, and it's something that they've been cooking on since May 2025, so May this year, and it's finally on, and it's causing a lot of changes. It's causing a lot of changes on LinkedIn. So let's first start by answering a simple question: what is 360 Brew? That's something that a lot of people have been asking me in these past few days. So 360 Brew is LinkedIn's 150 billion parameter AI foundation model that's already live, and it's deciding uh, basically what do you see, who sees you, and why they see you and why you see them on the platform, right? No matter if it's AI, if it's an update, if it's an algorithm, you can call it whatever you want, but it's an AI foundation that basically decides everything that's happening on LinkedIn. And no, it's not an update. If we call it like that, it's a complete infrastructure replacement, right? They replaced the full infrastructure on LinkedIn with this. It's already been running since May. Most people just didn't notice, or you noticed, right? The drop in the reach, changes in engagement, and all these kind of interesting stuff. And while I'm talking this and I'm looking at your questions, you are asking the questions who are not relevant and are not important, right? Is this type of content working? That's not an important question for you. And I'm going to get to what is an important question, but just know that you are asking the questions which are not relevant and not important. So what does this 360 brew actually replaces? It replaces an old system. The old system, what's the difference? The old system was basically a system where we had ID-based feature engineer models, and now we have the new system, which is text-based foundational model with in-context learning. What does it mean? It changes a lot. It changes a lot because it looks at the text. It doesn't look at some of the things which are, like ID, where are you coming from, right? That's not important anymore. So you need to think of that as well. Old system, ID-based feature engineer models. New system is basically a text-based foundational model with in-context learning. It replaced LinkedIn's old ID-based model with a text-based foundation that learns your behavior patterns through in-context learning. Basically, it learns from everything that you do, everything that you did in the past, which is why this is a problem for the people like me who are here on LinkedIn for a long time. But let's see how things goes. So let's see the mechanics. How does it work? Really interesting, right? It basically treats your entire LinkedIn presence as text. Your profile plus every single interactions that you have, and it learns um, the context from that. So what happens when it learns? It basically takes the context to predict what matters to you and what and who you matter to, right? Basically, it takes all of your presence, everything that you do on LinkedIn, every single thing you click, you don't click, whatever you do or you don't do, takes it into the model, looks at it, and then basically it acts with personalized predictions and guiding you through your behavior. Really, interesting things, because basically it gets the context. It's not something that you can hack, because it takes into consideration everything that you do. So what does it use? It uses basically everything. Let's start with profile data. It uses all the information that you have on your profile. It uses every single post that you've made on LinkedIn since the beginning of time, aka since you started the profile. It uses every single comment that you've written, every single one of them. Then it uses your engagement data, like every like, share, save, all of it. Then it looks who you engage with, and it looks at the topics you engage with, right? So it's not only surface level when you see is okay, he engages with these people. No, what are the topics you engage with, right? And then basically, as the third part of it, it looks and uses behavioral data, which means how long you spend reading the content. No matter if it's looking at the profile, no matter if it's looking at one post or a video, whatever it is, or this LinkedIn Live. And basically it cross-surfaces behavior groups. So like groups, events, newsletters, everything that you do. It uses cross-surface behaviors to see, actually this is what's happening. This is what this person does. So what's the formula? Basically, it approximates member profile, so your past history and all the attributes. It gets all the interactions and an item, basically behavioral and item signals, and then it creates the prediction formula that gets you the personalized relevance score. Pretty cool, right? It basically takes into consideration everything about you. So if you like the algorithm so far, is the time that this changes. So basically the whole model is fundamentally changing, and it's a big shift coming. So what does it mean? It changes everything from the way you come to the market, from the technology, from the organizational shift. Everything is changing on LinkedIn, and I'm gonna get you some hints of how it is going. But let's move on and answer more questions. So, what's the biggest change if you look at it? Right? Basically, the way it was a single achievement and one-off action. So what you did once, and you could have cheated the algorithm and go post a meme, for example, and it will get traction. You will get followers, and woohoo, it's happening. And it will basically get you to that your couple of next posts will have all the advantage of that one post that's happening. But you basically trick the algorithm because you're not persistent with what you do and the way you do things. So now it's changing, and basically it takes the creative identity and ongoing practice and basically defines who you actually are, which is kind of cool in so many ways. Basically, LinkedIn moved from measuring what you did once to measuring who you are as a creator, meaning consistently, every day, over time, across every single piece of content and every single piece of the platform. So, context over features. That sounds nice, but what does it mean? It means that the old system was kind of handcrafted. You had handcrafted features, like there's that many interactions per week, right? We all heard Yasmin and other people saying, hey, you need to comment on, I don't know, like 150 posts per day, right? 500 per week. That's the old system. The new system is actually, in my opinion, easier. So everything is processed as natural language. The model extracts what it needs directly from the text, which means the like new system looks at everything as text. So there are no other things around it, and basically it now has all the context, so you cannot trick it. You cannot trick it with I don't know, like hooks and those kind of things. But that's the system. I will tell you how we react to those things as well. Feel free to ask questions anytime. So I'm looking at the questions, and I'm also responding on those who are already inside it. So feel free to ask anytime. These are not easy things so far, because I'm explaining the algorithm, right? But let's see how things actually work. This is kind of interesting. Okay, so I need to do this again, and then we'll see. Okay, perfect. So for me, the most interesting part is why this shift is important, because you cannot game the context. You can only build it. And it's very interesting because that's how you build on other platforms as well, right? All the manipulation tactics are dead. At least that's what they should be, and at least that's why my colleagues are saying, and that's what the document explaining 360 brew is saying. For example, like those posts that you are seeing on LinkedIn that are saying, please write bravo in the comments and I will send you the document that you requested, right? And then basically you fake the engagement. And they say, for that kind of engagement bait, it's over. I don't think it's over. Basically, because if you have relevant people saying bravo in the comments, that's actual engagement, right? With the real people, with the real relevant people. And then when you send them the link or the PDF in the inbox, well, guess what? That's also continuation of engagement in the inbox, right? And message inside the inbox after the post is the how you measure if the algorithm is working for you. Really interesting stuff. But let's move on. So usually, I don't know, like at least 4 or 5 people ask, what is now the thing that gets punished, right? Especially those who get discussed and say, hey, this is not Facebook for you. This is not a TikTok. This is LinkedIn. This is the professional network. Well, let's see. Peter also asked, and now I can answer this. Like, how do you communicate the selfie era on LinkedIn, which is on a verge of different social media, with a goal of raising the algorithm likes without any means, or context? And let me tell you, I don't see anybody in their bathing suits, right? But I see only beautiful women. So from that perspective, I don't know if I can object, but I dislike those kind of things from the perspective that women were fighting for their freedom, for freedom of expression, for everything. And instead of now going on the same level and going business-wise, because they all say on LinkedIn, we are here to make money, right? As men are. But then when they post those kind of photos, they basically play on their attributes. And it has nothing to do with the algorithm. It has everything to do with how men and women react to those things. And it's basically what's happening also offline. So there's no need to comment on that. Somebody likes it, somebody don't. I don't even look at those things because I don't react to them, and then I don't see them in my feed, right? So maybe that is the answer. Now, what tactics no longer work? It's really cool to look at that. So the first thing that I mentioned, like engagement bait, comment bravo to get the document. 360 brew And also, I think Richard van der Blom's research says that those kind of posts get up to 70% less reach. But let me tell you, reach is cool, and getting less reach is okay. But these posts get engagement. It's not about reach, it's about engagement. So I have no stats to show to you is the engagement going up or down on this kind of posts. This is the stat that will actually show me, is this really working or no, or is it something that is no longer working or no. But engagement pods, LinkedIn definitely decided to get rid of those. Let's hope for the sake of all of us. What does it mean, engagement pod? It means AI engagement groups who are getting detected and they're getting penalized, right? So no more like AI written comments, repeating the same thing that you said in a post just so you can actually comment more, right? Those are stupid things. So don't ever do that. And also, I don't recommend. I recommend you block those people who are commenting on your post because they are not relevant. They basically don't see you. It's the algorithm going through the post. Like engagement farms, you probably know that expression from some other social media. So then we have clickbait with no substance, right? Empty promises that are giving no value, or the empty hypes. LinkedIn now recognizes that, and it focuses because it focuses on the context, right? So basically, it goes in a way where you need to actually deliver the quality content. That's what it's all about. You need to focus on the quality. No matter if you're educating, selling, whatever it is, you need to have a quality type of content. Then when it comes to the copy paste viral content, especially those videos, I'm just gonna pop viral videos, downloading them from somewhere, just popping them on LinkedIn so I can have 80, 90,000 to 200,000 people following me. That's bullshit. And it's the end of it. I don't hope, I know that it is. So recycle posts without originality, and end of those things. At least I hope so, right? So there's always this chance that every platform says that we're going to focus on specific things, we're going to focus on narrow community, but then what they do is that they actually avoid things that people react to. So we're going to have to see about that. But also AI generated generic content, which means we are living in a perfect world, right? We have templates that everybody is using. We have repetitive outputs that everybody is using. We have the same structure. We have the same hooks. We have like 7 types of posts you need to use today, right? Those things are not working. Sure, you need to use AI. We are all using it. But the way you're using it, that's what matters. What does it mean? It means that, you need to have at least one sentence that's originally yours. At least one sentence, do just that much, at least that much, and you use AI for the structure to help you write it better. But even I'm saying, like I used to say that to have a great text post, you need to be a good copywriter, right? Because if you add visual, if you add video, basically you can draw attention with that visual or with that video. It's not only text. With text, you need to have a rhythm. You need to have a rhythm. You need to know how to keep their attention. And basically now when everybody is writing perfect posts, perfectly generated posts, if somebody comes in and who doesn't know any rules of the copywriting, just has a story to tell, it changes everything. And basically that's how it gets you more visibility. You just need to know, to be aware that you're writing for the people who are reading from their mobile phones. So when it comes to the structure, at least, you know, consider those things and focus on that. And then we have one more thing that no longer work. It's topic hooping on trend jacking. In Serbia, we have this guy called Istok Pavlovic that does that. Sorry, Istok, but it's over. So random posting without consistency now gets punished. What does it mean? You cannot just change and hop on trending topics. Every week you have another trending topic, you hop on it, you hop on it. The algorithm now awards consistency and it awards focusing on specific topic. Listen, guys, I'm talking about B2B, only about that since 2019, even before that, but that's the only thing I'm talking about. And basically now when everybody comes and schedule a call with me, they say, I talked to 10 different people. I asked them, who do I need to help me with B2B marketing? They all said Nemanja Živković, right? They all say my name. B2B marketing, Nemanja, right? And then it's strategy plus implementation. So, but I'm talking about this topic that much that actually I bored myself. And when you bore yourself, that's the moment when you keep going, because that's when the results are starting to come. And it's the same with the algorithm and the same with LinkedIn and how it works. Always remember those things. Now let's move on. So why does AI generated content actually get flagged? Let's consider this and think about it. So because it has it acts like templates, so the posts look the same. It has some same repetitive stuff that everybody is using. It's unoriginal. Basically, it replicates as usual what is already there, and the whole context if you used AI or no, it's easily identifiable, right? So you can easily see if it's ChatGPT generated or no. So that's one thing. The second thing is credibility scoring. 360 Brew has advanced credibility scoring, which is built to analyze content authenticity. So that's why I told you, you need to have at least one sentence which is originally yours. At least one that is originally yours. So, you're not just a copycat, but you actually write something which is original. Then there is a low credibility flag, which means that this content is classified as low credibility due to its lack of unique value and depth. So if it's not original, if it's not guided by some insight that you have, some point of view that you have, some things that you are seeing and others are not seeing, and it doesn't have depth, it's just, you keep producing posts that, it won't make anybody stop and actually think. Right? So that's why Algorhitm removes those things. And the fourth one is deprioritization, meaning content flag as low credibility is automatically deprioritized, which is limiting its reach and its impact. Right? So if it's AI and you don't have any single sentence that you change in that, not at least a single sense of originality, it says, you're actually not helping. Because what's the mission and vision of LinkedIn is connect diverse professionals and make them more productive and successful. By replicating things, you are not actually doing anything meaningful. You're not connecting people. You are not helping them get better, right? You're just replicating the same old thing somebody once said. So that's the thing with that. Now, for everybody who just joined us and who are listening, feel free to ask questions anytime in the feed, in the comment section. I'm there to answer all of them. And this presentation is also based on the questions that I got from you guys during the day. So let's go further. What happens if I decide to change topics and to talk about different topics. There are a lot of people who just wake up one day and say, hey, today I'm going to talk about this thing. Tomorrow they wake up and they say, hey, I'm going to talk about that thing. So they say, I'm going to talk about business today. And for example, one niche. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about different niche. In 3 days, I'm going to talk about my kids. In 4 days, I'm going to talk about, I don't know, Ironman that I'm preparing for. In 6 days, they're going to talk about NBA game, whatever it is. You basically confuse the algorithm, you confuse the model, and it has no clue what are you doing and who you are, right? So that's the thing to think about. The model gets confused, it doesn't know how to classify you, and it results in low reach across all the topics, right? So that's what you should think about. What are the things that actually get rewarded? So on the other hand, this is kind of interesting. So focus on a niche. The platform rewards content creators who consistently deliver value within a specific topic or a niche and signaling authority and expertise. And it doesn't mean that you cannot explain things in a way that you use sport, that you use music, that you use those things. It's all important that the ceiling or the overall topic or the main topic, it's intact, and all the other topics are a part of it and compound that topic, right? Audience engagement is something that gets reward. Content, like creating the content that sparks genuine conversations, that sparks comments, and also sparks shares. And those kind of things are actually favored by the algorithm, and it's indicating the strong audience connection and relevance, meaning you need to actually write the thing people are interested in reading and engaging with, right? It's not, I'm going to tell you something and you're going to see it and you're just going to go. No, you need to grab their attention. They need to stay on your post. They need to comment on your post. They need to share your post. They need to save your post. Always think they need to share your post to somebody else through the inbox. Always think about these things. Those things are so important. And to get there, you need a clear value proposition. What does it mean? It means that you need to provide actionable insights. Like everything you post need to be actionable. And not only actionable, it actually need to have at least a sense of entertainment or solution to audience problems that ensures that your content is seen as valuable and that it gets promoted. So you need to combine things. What does it mean? It means, in a way, that's at least how I see it, that in a hook, those are like first 3.5 lines that you're going to have in your post. Go a little bit wider and then narrow it down as they click see more, right? So go in your hook a little bit wider, a little bit more general, and then narrow it towards the end of your post, right? Don't start with, hey, CFOs in SaaS, in medical. I know, like, don't start with that. Go a little broader and then bring it back, because you need to do two things. One is to communicate and convert those who are your ideal customers. On the other hand, what do you need to do is you need to get followers, because they will get your content seen to more of those who are relevant and who are your customers. So you need to go both ways and think about both things. Okay. You're a really nice audience. Nobody asks questions. Woohoo! That's kind of interesting. Let me just grab a sip of coffee and then we'll move on. Nice. There actually wasn't any water in the building. I don't know why. So I just have to go with a coffee. I need to choose between water and coffee. Anyway, what does 360 Brew reward? It rewards consistency, So choose 2 to 3 core topics and focus on them, and they all need to be interconnected, right? If we get this conversation to the basketball, you get to the how Željko Obradović, which is one of the best coaches in the world, the best coach in EuroLeague, the coach of the team that I'm cheering for, Partizan Belgrade, says why his opponents are not figuring out the way he's doing things yet. Well, here's the thing. He has one action, he has the second action, he has the third action. How the players move and how things are implemented on the court. And so, like, opponents learn one, they learn the second, they learn the third one. But they actually are, the one has a lot of varieties that comes from it. And those varieties intersect with the second action. And from the second also has varieties and they intersect with the third one. And the third one has some that intersect with the first one. So basically, as I told you, it compounds. The topics, the content, everything compounds. And what I like to say, it creates the lava effect. So it started moving everything in front of you. But then on the other hand, if you look at it from the company perspective, it actually creates the surround sound, right? Because you hear it from your CFO talking about it that way. You hear it from the CEO talking that way, or talking about these different topics. All of them from their perspectives, and they all collide into the surround sound as you have the, like in the cinema, right? You get the sound coming from this side, from this side, from this side, but it all collides into one sound, super clear sound that you can see. And it means, from the perspective of somebody who you are targeting, they come to LinkedIn, so they see, okay, the CEO has a post, the CEO has, I don't know, like a LinkedIn Live talking about specific topic with a guest. CMO has a post where they break down the campaigns. Sales guy is commenting all over the feed. So it comes naturally on the frequency that we actually consume things. On the other hand, what companies are still doing, trying to figure out, like, okay, they went to my website, so I'm going to retarget them until forever with one corporate branded visual that wherever they come to LinkedIn, they're going to see it. So after 18 days of seeing the same thing in the feed, basically what we do, we say, get the hell out of here, and we block the company. We never see them again. You don't want to be that company, right? You want things to come natural to you and create the mind share. So you actually think of those guys with love when you need a problem that they can solve, right? That's it. So let's see, human voice. Of course, I don't think even we need to go deeper on this, because it's a normal thing, right? AI assistance is fine to help you with the structure, with those kind of things, but it needs your unique perspective. It always needs to guide on your unique perspective. Deep engagement, definitely. Thoughtful comments, not just like great post. Engagement diversity. So we have different industries, we have different contexts. We need to have that. You cannot go, there was a saying, you only need 100 people that you can sell to, right? In your lifetime. That's actually bullshit. And that's not true. Why? Because when you think about it, basically we get to the moment on LinkedIn when you need to have different people. I told you, you need to have followers, you need to have your ICP. To have more ICP, you need to have more followers, and your content are seen by more people, so you get more of those who are your target audience, right? And some of them will refer you, some of them become your clients, some of them will look at you as a teacher, and some of them will see you offline and say, hey, Nemanja from LinkedIn, right? Those things are actually happening. Reference content. You need to create content that actually gets saved. right? Now you can see inside your engagement, you can see, I maybe share my screen at the end to show you. You can see how many people saved your post and how many people actually shared your post with somebody else through the messages. Those are relevant signals that you need to use. Why? Because it builds trust over time. You maybe don't see that person like, but they saved your post. What does it mean? It means that you won't get that much engagement, right? But that say people who save your post, LinkedIn will show them your post in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. They will share more posts of yours in their feed in the next weeks. Because when somebody saves your post in the eyes of the algorithm, you are got to them. That's the main metric today, right? So always think from that perspective. Let me check what's the next question, or I'll answer on Milo's question. Yeah. Cool. Let's go through this and then I'll answer. So, what's the engagement diversity? We all keep thinking about it, keep saying about you should have diversity under your post, in the comments, whatever it is. So, what is it actually? It's not about how many people engage. It's about that a large quantity from a narrow group that doesn't count. You need to go wide, get people from different industries that all talk about the same topics, right? But it's not only one niche, one small niche. No, that time has changed and we need to move on from that. Now, let's see. It's also about who engages and from where. It's not the same engagement and reach if somebody who is recognized as relevant from LinkedIn comments on your post, or if somebody who has just built a profile and doesn't have optimized profile that comments on your post, right? You need to think about this. Seeking breadth and variety engagement sources is a must. So you need to go and try to have engagement under your post. So bring them under your post, or you go to their post with the people who are authorities in your field. Also, one post seen by 10 different industries. That's better engagement. So that's how you should think about it. Not like 5 guys from the same company saw this post. Sure, it helps. But when it comes to long-term building, it's one post seen by 10 different industries. Also, 100 people in the same bubble, as I told you, it's not working anymore. It's limited engagement. You need to get out of the bubble. For example, 1 week focus on this industry, another week focus on the second, another week focus on the third one. That's how you can also change countries as well. So it doesn't mean change the topics from week to week. It just, engage with people from different environments. That's what you should think about. So let me get to the question Miloš asked. Give me a second. Okay. Miloš asked, how does Algo treat when you post your own comments on your own post? So let me just stop with sharing a screen for a while I answer the questions. Hello, it's me. How does Algo treat when you post your own comments on your own post? It's actually great. You need to build a community under your post. That's what I'm talking about all the time. No matter if it's your post or somebody else's post, that's not important. It's the same question that usually people ask, should I like my own post? You don't like your post? They're not good. If they are, like them. That's it. So you should definitely think, when you think about your post, as a cluster. I don't know, for anybody listening, it's the same as you build when it comes to the SEO. So you have, for example, main topic, and you have 3 clusters inside that topic, right? And then each cluster has, for example, keywords or subtopics under it. So your goal is to cover all these topics, all these clusters, but interlink them. You are interlinking them in the comments. So you have one topic in the post. In the comments, you give more insights. You give more data. So you need to actually make a habit for the people to come inside your comments, because they know you will give them some extra out there, right? That's how you should think about it. And always pin the first comment. How do you pin it? There was an option on LinkedIn. LinkedIn removed it, but then what we do, we actually use the emoji which is pinned. Go to I don't know, like how do we call it? Pillar.com or any emoji page. Type into the search pin and you will see the pin. Use it. That's how you do it. But then use that post, your new post, to actually add it as a comment, as a link on your previous post. So all the people who reacted on your previous post will get notified when you do it, right? That you have a new post. And you can go out there and they can go actually out there and check it out. Also, when you post it, for example, in the morning, only the people who are here in the morning will see your post, right? That's how I would assume. Only people from this part of the world. And then in like 4 hours, repost that post, right? So people from different time zone will see it again. And then again, in 8 hours from the first post, you repost it again, right? So you don't need that many posts. You need to have one post under which you're going to build momentum. That's it. And that's the whole thing. That's how you should think about those things. Now let's go to answer some more questions. Okay, we covered this. Let's see. Why do saves matter so much? When someone saves your post, 360 Brew interprets it as reference material. It means that your post is deemed valuable for the future use, right? So you create evergreen content. It's not Google just launched this, an update, whatever it is. Don't share that. Share evergreen content, because LinkedIn will keep showing that content to the relevant audience in time, and you can reuse it. So long-term relevance is extremely important, and it signifies enduring appeal beyond immediate engagement. So basically, in time, people who save your posts will see your post, your content resurfacing in suggesting for you. It basically reappears in user feeds a week later, and it expands the reach. So basically, we need to get used that it's not, the first 50 minutes that matter. Somebody can comment on our post 2 days later, and it can blow up. So think about that. Saves is extended visibility and organic discovery. So let's move on. Topic consistency. That's actually really important. And it's what I told you about the clusters and how you should look at the things. You need to have a strategic focus. What does it mean? You cover 2 or 3 topics. That's the core topics limit. But then basically by doing that, the model builds your credibility cluster based on consistent themes. So it basically positions you as authority for that topic or those 3 core topics. And if you go around it, it gets lost. So you need to find the way back. Then, can you expand into the new topics? That's kind of a tricky one. Yes, but it can only be topics, adjacent topics with the logical overlap. What does it mean? For example, like you have a topic which is B2B marketing. It's extremely relevant. Then you have adjacent like sales enablement overlaps, which is logical extension. And then you can have like just start talking about NFTs, for example. That's totally relevant to the B2B marketing, right? But you can maybe talk as third topic as, for example, about revenue ops. That's adjacent topic. That's how you should think. You should think about topic clusters. What if we've been inconsistent in the past? That's a tricky one, especially for those who are here for a long time, who have switched careers. That's a tricky one. If you've been scattered, you might need a reboot, which means explicitly announce you're focusing on specific topics moving forward. What does it mean? Write a post. Hey guys, I've been through this and industry. I've changed a while. Now I have this new company I'm working in. I have my new venture, whatever it is. I'm going to focus on these topics because I told you that 360 Brew reads text. So always communicate with it through your content. That's how you give it a clear signal that you are switching from. Also, do that inside your profile, right? So that's also something to think about. Now, let's see. How does the model detect topic drift? It actively tests things. So you have one post outside the topic, and it says, okay, that's actually cool. Let me wait to see what the next topic is. Will that person change the topics, or will they remain focused on that? So now if you talk about different topics 2 times, it basically tests things. Now, is he really changing the topic or no? And 3 times consecutively, it basically reclassifies your content. You say, okay, your credibility clusters weekend, this is the person that talks about different stuff. I don't know where to classify that guy. So for now, I'm just going to declassify him. So that's how you should think. You should think about things. Okay, let's see what else. A lot of questions. So engagement strategy. Before I get to engagement strategy, I might want to tackle one more question that I got from Yelena, if I'm not wrong. So let me just see and answer that one. Okay, Yelena says she reads a very contradiction opinions. Some people say that you should put 3 links in the text of post in the post, and somewhere that you shouldn't put. You should put none of the links. So, do you put links inside your text posts, and how many of them? Yeah. So this has nothing to do with the 360 Brew. The thing is, and actually, every platform wants to keep people on the platform. So none of the platforms, no matter if it's LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, likes when you leave the platform or when you insinuate people to leave the platform, right? That's not what you do. So if you really want people to click on the link and go on a website, if it's that valuable, then you post the link. If you can replicate that in a way that, for example, you have what's on that link inside the post, then you do it. You can add links in the comments, but then LinkedIn actually tries to hide them. There you need to switch from most recent to most relevant so you can see them, and even then it tries to hide them from everybody else. So what I suggest doing is adding links in your feature section And that's how you actually, when you say people, if you want to read more, find the link in the feature section of my profile. That's how you actually guide people to visit your profile and to see what you're all about, because your LinkedIn profile should be your sales page, and everything you do on LinkedIn should have a goal to get people to visit your sales page and to buy whatever you are buying. So yeah, that's the thing. Some say that 3 links works, but how many times do you have 3 links to share or more? I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of the answer. And the other question, how does carousel work these days? They always work okay, right? Carousel work if you have a good hook in the first slide that will make people wonder, stop, and then go and scroll through the rest of the content. And it matters if it's the relevant topic and if you're going into details about that topic. Sure, polls work as well. Everything works. Like videos, I wouldn't say focus on the videos, for example, but LinkedIn Lives, yes. Okay, so there's those are the answers for the Elena. Now let's see what else do we have here. So engagement. Does network size still matters? No, network size doesn't matter. 10,000 connections who never engage, you are invisible to them. A lot of people who have hundred thousands of followers, their posts are seen, but by less people than people who have 500 followers. Yeah, because if they have the right 500, it changes the game. So you need to remove people who don't engage. And now I'm using the chance to tell you, if you don't engage with my content, I'm going to remove you. That's just how it goes, right? So that's important to know and to think about. Also, if you have 500 connections across 10 industries who actually interact with your content, then your reach and your visibility gets amplified, right? So that's how you should think about these things. What kind of engagement matters most? Reply depth. If you have conversation, that's kind of a continuation of what I've been answering to Miloš and his question. Like reply depth, conversation threads in the comments. If you go comment on comment on comment on comment, so you don't end discussion, you actually spark discussion. That's very valuable. If you cross-reference insights, so you're connecting ideas across posts, the thing I told you. So you have one post and you connect it with the last post. The next post is the one you connect with these two. That's kind of interlinking the topic and the clusters. So that's important. Then thoughtful responses, like meaningful contribution, not like nice post, whatever it is. I love when you share this post, right? That's not a good comment. You don't bring any value. You don't challenge anybody. You don't give additional insights, nothing. Think about that. Also, private DMs, follow-up conversation. When you have a post, did somebody from your target audience send you a message after that post? Did they visit your profile? Those are the signals that you are doing well when it comes to the algorithm, right? And when it comes to the content. Is it happening or not? Also, you can be the one who will reach out to the people who like your post and ask them questions, just to kind of spark the conversation. We usually don't do that. I don't understand why. Because LinkedIn is the platform with a mission to connect the world's professionals and make them more productive and successful. So if you connect with people with a goal not to sell them, but to solve their problems, that's actually what's working on LinkedIn. So that's the engagement that matters the most. Now, do comments still matter? Hell yeah, but differently, right? So they read, LinkedIn now reads what's in the comments, not just the count of the comments, right? Not just the number. It reads what do you comment. So like great post comments have really low value, but 10 thoughtful responses with follow-up questions have really huge value for the person and for the algorithm. Should you still care about the first 90 minutes when you post? Hell no, that rule is finally dead. So 360 Brew doesn't care when you get the engagement. It only cares that you get the engagement on the post. So it cares also about who engages. Your target audience interactions is the key, or your peers, somebody who is actually interested to read what you're talking about and have additional wish to comment on that, to have a discussion. How they engage also matters. So quality interactions over quantity. Posts can even explode 3 days later if the right people are start sharing. Think about that. 3 days later, they can still explode if the right people starts to share them. So let's see how do we create the impact with and talk about content strategy. Just after I get a little bit more coffee. Okay. As they say, it's time that we get towards the end. Should you post more or less? You should definitely post less frequently and more strategically. Prioritize meaningful content over sheer volume. Like prepare a post for a few days. Get really in depth into it, both visually, both textually, and with more context. So plan content to align with goals and audience needs, right? Because basically what you're doing with content is you are giving them just enough to get to the next phase, and then to the next phase, and then to the next phase. So you need to map them across the buyer's journey. So think about it that way. Post less frequently, post more strategically, focus on quality and consistency, volume, and not trying to hack the algorithm. What type of content performs best? A lot of people ask that question, like a lot. Should I post carousels? Should I post this? Should I post this? It doesn't matter. You should focus on the content which is evergreen. Evergreen frameworks people will need twice or 3 times or 4 times or forever. This is what creates the growth loop. If you have a hot take, it dies in 48 hours. Saved posts get resurfaced for weeks, right? If it's valuable, LinkedIn will serve them to the people next week and then next week and then next week and then next week. Think about it that way. Now, let's go and see, can you still go viral? Oh, that's the question Andrei Kauring asked a few days ago. Like, yes, but only if you build the pattern first. What does it mean? You cannot go viral if you just come to the platform, you have random posts, random topic, engagement bait, and one-off spike, and boom, that's how it goes. New viral is basically a consistent creator with established credibility and earned trust. So you do that, and then one of your posts might go viral. That's the way to look at it. How should you use AI in your content? A great question. Use AI for structure. Use you for the tone of voice. Be yourself. The most effective content leverage is AI for foundational elements, while they are retaining your unique human touch. Don't ever lose that human touch. Use AI to outline, to do the research, to format your content efficiently, because it provides the framework, right? It ensures that you have the clarity, that you have the coherence, but infuse then your unique personality, your unique insights, your unique style, and every post needs at least one sentence only you can write. Make it authentically yours, like keeping it funky, right? Think from that perspective. Then let's see how we're actually building authority and how do we build the credibility system that I was talking about. What's that we call a credibility cluster? Well, 360 Brew classifies people not just the post. So focus is on the creator, on the person, not just on the individual content. Therefore, consistency is the key, like regular, high quality contribution that build trust over time. Kind of like you do when you try to sell to the B2B companies with a high ticket offer. That's how you do it. And LinkedIn basically groups credible creators, within your domain. So you become a part of the all-star team. That's how I would like to say it. So if you're consistent, it groups you with other credible creators in your domain, and it forms your unique credibility cluster, right? So clusters, again, SEO, again, it's more or less just like SEO. Now, how do you build credibility? Consistent topic focus, genuine expertise demonstrated over time, diverse engagement patterns, deep conversations in the comments, and a content people save and revisit. That's all you need to know when it comes to building the credibility. Can you transfer credibility? That's actually a great question. Yes, you can. If you engage with industry leaders in your field, part of their credibility transfers to you, just like academic citations, right? And just like you link your domain to the more relevant domain in the niche, and you actually get the juice so you can go up in your rankings on Google. Engage with leaders, actively interact with influential figures in your field through thoughtful contributions. Then part of their established reputation and authority naturally extends to you, and credibility is transferred. So it goes through the comments. So comment thoughtfully on thought leaders' posts and add real insights, not great posts. Okay, I hope this is clear, because it's extremely important. So what are the algorithm? What does the algorithm see? What are the hidden signals? Right? Just like the top of the icebergs, as I like to say. Time somebody spent reading, even without explicit engagement. If somebody reads your content, that's a signal. It stays on your post. That's the thing we had before, and it's called dwell time. Then who saves your content? Reference material indicator. It's important that people save your post, but for you, it's important who saves your post. Then reply depth. Do you have comment threads? Do you create those? Are you a part of those under other people's posts? Cross-surface activity, which means groups, events, newsletters. Do you have things that create communities, that engages people in a different way? Then also what's important is, what do you don't engage with? Do you block certain pages? Do you hide certain pages? Do you avoid certain pages? That's important, because selectivity is actually equal to credibility. Then private DMs follow-ups. It's a signal of a deep engagement, right? Somebody reads your post and they send you a message. Hey, can you tell me more about this? Hey, I would like to have a conversation with you. Those are signals of deep engagement from your post. And also silent readers who consume deeply. That's also important, because those are the people who actually buy, those who don't react to anything. Now, do lurkers just hurt you, or voyeurs? People who just look and don't do anything, never engages with you. Yes, they actually hurt you. Lurkers, while seemingly harmless, right? You can have them. They can actually diminish your perceived relevance to the algorithm. The model evaluates not just the follower count, but they also evaluates active engagement, right? So if 5,000 people follow you but never engage, what happens? The algorithm interprets that this is a low relevance for your content. So this can negatively impact your reach. In contrast, a smaller, high engaged audience signals strong relevance. The algorithm prioritizes content that generates active interactions. So basically, if you have 5,000 silent followers, it results in reduced visibility, and if you have 500 active followers, it results in increased reach. It's always better to have 500 people who will react and engage than more than that who don't engage. Should you clean your network? Hell yes. Unfollow that context. Stop following people who never engage with you. Your network quality affects your reach. So remove inactive or ghost accounts from your network. They reduce actually your perceived relevance. Stop following people who consistently don't interact with anything that you post. Focus on quality over the quantity. A high quality engaged network signals relevance to the algorithms, right? And it ultimately expands your reach and impact. Your network quality directly affects your visibility. So you can remove those people from your connections. They can stay as followers, right? Always think from that perspective. What about company pages? We never mentioned company pages yet in this live. So that's actually a super interesting topic. And we didn't mention them because actually, let me tell you, it stays the same. What happens to the company pages? They're about to get crushed more unless they act like people. 360 Brew is built for personal profiles, which have interactions, history, behavior patterns, relationship graphs. And so it looks at interaction history, behavior patterns, and relationship graphs. On the other hand, when you look at company pages, they just have like posts, right? That's the only thing that they have, only posts, limited interaction data, and static content. So yeah, that's about the companies. So what should companies do? Employee advocacy programs. I told you about surround sound and company page posts, and actually engage as pages on people's posts. Right? Employee advocacy is more impactful than traditional company page posts. So amplify your people, not your logos. Right? Does your personal profile affects your company page? Yes, it does. It's important to say this. If you're an admin, 360 Brew links your personal credibility score to the company page. So depending on what you do with your profile, it reflects on the company page. And if you have 500 employees, then think about it if they are active or not. Right? So also one thing I want to tackle, it's multilingual advantage. So far, the advice was post on just one language because you will confuse the algorithm. But now when the algorithm is actually looking at text, not IDs, you can talk about the same topic in different languages, and it will position you in both markets for that topic. You just cannot talk in Serbian about one topic and in English in a different topic. You don't do that. That's it. Let me see if you have more things. What if I post in multiple languages? Yeah, okay. That's what I just explained. Starting point. Yeah, that's actually a cool question. So us established creators have high reach and we already build the audience. And those who are just starting now have like a low visibility and limited followers. But the things have changed. So if you start now with a clear focus as a new creator, you will have 2 or 3 defined topics, and LinkedIn will have you build clean credibility clusters faster. On the other hand, established creators, if they have a messy 3-year history on LinkedIn, the model sees the noise. So you need to have a clean start, right? So those are the things that are important. Now, let's see, what if you're established but scattered? I mentioned it a little bit earlier. It says, explicitly announce for the next 6 months, I'm focusing on X. Don't drift gradually. Shift sharply and transparently. Rebuild intentionally your credibility clusters with purpose. So those are the things that are important, and you should remember them. Temporary dynamics and time matters. The enduring impact of your content with 360 brews, let's try to understand it. It basically values your entire content history and builds lasting credibility, reducing recency bias, and accelerating your influence. Does my old content matter? Yes, more than ever. 360 Brew actually reads your entire history, not just your activity, your recent activity, right? So recency bias is reduced, and your 2-year-old content still affects your classification today. Think of it as a comprehensive digital memory. And how long does credibility last? Longer than before. 360 Brew uses in-context learning, and it adapts to behavior shifts without full retaining. Your credibility compounds faster and lasts longer, and it's an evergreen reputation that grows with you. In essence, basically, 360 Brew ensures that every piece of content contributes to your ongoing narrative, and it creates kind of a, like a robust, persistent digital identity. Okay, now, practical metrics. I mentioned, but I want to mention it again. So we have saves, not just likes. Saves are the most important. Then we have comment depth, not just count, but how are they commenting? DMs as a follow-up. So basically it's engagement signal. Then we have time spent on a post, not just views. So then we have cross-industry engagement. Diversity matters. And then we have resurfacing basically in suggested for you. Right? So that's it. Why are DMs important? Because they are a hidden signal of algorithm success. If people DM you about your post, that's deep engagement the model sees. So here's how DM impact your algorithm success. Basically, you have DMs, then you have deep engagement if it happens, and then it's voila, success. Right? DMs represent a powerful form of one-on-one interactions. Right? It indicates that genuine interest and active participation are present beyond simple interactions in the feed, right? So that's a signal to get to the wider audience. And voila, that's it, lovely people. That's it from me. I hope I answer all of your questions. I'll be here in the comments even after this ends, so feel free to ask. I will try to answer in the comments. If I can on the video, I will try to answer then, and I'll try to present you a lot of this stuff in the future, so you can see how it's connected. For example, my cluster is B2B marketing, but I have sales, I have marketing, I have LinkedIn inside it. I have also personal brand, employee engagement inside it, because that's all part of the B2B go-to-market, right? So that's how you think, and that's how you should think about those things. Yeah, that's it, guys. Hour and a half almost. Nice. Cheers. Keep it funky.